everybody. Welcome to another broadcast of Professors Providing Professional Development, PPPD. I'm Teri and I'm joined today by my colleague in crime, Karin Perry, and a special guest. This is Dr. Margaret Hale from University of Houston, and she's here as a guest to talk a little bit about an upcoming event that we think you'll find interesting. It's the Tween Book Fest. And so we're going to let Margaret talk a little bit about that, and then Karin and I are going to book talk a couple of the books for the authors that are going to be there. So,
well, also you'll notice we're recording in a different setting. We tried to find an out-of-the-way spot. We're at the Scholastic Reading Summit in San Antonio right now. It's loud everywhere here, so bear with us. And if you have to turn up your volume on your computer, just go with the flow.
Turn it up.
That's right. Turn it on up. All right, Margaret. So tell us a little bit about your event.
So the event is the Tweens Read Book Festival. This is our 6th annual Tweens Read Book Festival. It's scheduled this fall for October 22nd, and it will be held at South Houston High School in South Houston, Texas, which is one of the high schools in Pasadena ISD. So like I said, it's our 6th event. This year we have 31 authors participating, and they come and we have several who are delivering keynote speeches. This year the keynote speakers are Jason Reynolds, who is the author of the upcoming book Ghost, as well as many other books. We have, in the afternoon, our 2 keynote speakers are Trenton Lee Stewart and Adam Gidwitz. So in addition to them, there are 28 other authors who are speaking during the day in various panel sessions. The festival is aimed at middle grade readers, so we say in our mission statement about 5th through 8th grade, but a lot of the authors who come have written other books that are either for younger students or books who are for older students, and so we have had kindergarten all the way through 12th graders come to the event each year. Last year we had over 2,000 people participate in the event. It's a free event. It always occurs on a Saturday. It goes from about 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and we're able to make it a free event for everybody who comes because we have a partnership with an independent bookstore in Houston. It is Blue Willow Bookshop. They work with us and they work with the publishers to bring in authors who have books coming out in that publishing season and who will be on publicity tour. So that helps us to keep the cost down. We also apply for different grants around the area and also seek donations from anybody who's willing.
So are there book sales?
Yes, Blue Willow Bookshop is on site each year selling the books by the authors who are speaking.
So like Ghost by Jason Reynolds would be for sale? Is it out by that time?
It will be out by that time.
Great.
Typically, the books have either come out the spring of that year or they're coming out that fall, and publishers, on a few occasions we've had authors speaking whose book doesn't come out for another week or 2, but when that happens, the publishers usually work with Blue Willow to have those books available at the festival.
That's great.
And then at the end of the day, all of the authors are available in 2 locations at the high school to autograph the books that people have bought. So,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, we're
so
excited.
why do you think focusing solely on tweens is needed?
Well, when we started the festival, I was working at a 5th and 6th grade campus with my co-director, Julie Mulkey, and she and I went and volunteered at one of our sister festivals called Teen Book Con. And at the end of the day, it was such a good experience. We thought, we really want our kids to have something available to them. And so we approached the people from Blue Willow and talked to them about doing it. And there are a lot of book festivals aimed at teens around the state and really around the country. When we first started Tweens Read, we were the only book festival aimed specifically at tweens, and I believe we're still the only one. There are some who are, their audience is a mixture of tweens and teens, but I believe that ours is still the only one aimed solely at tween readers. So it's pretty exciting. We're looking forward to it this year.
And I get to go back this year for my 2nd visit to Tweens Read, and it was like going back to middle school, back to my classroom again, to be with kids of that age. I hadn't been around them in that number in a long time, and it was so exciting because they were just coming out of their skin to see the authors, and I think that's that's such a huge benefit of having a conference that removes that kind of wall between the speakers and the kids.
The authors are so accessible on the day of the event. In fact, just about every year that we've held it, when we get in the morning, we have all the authors together on the stage as we're introducing them. And each year, the kids are out in the audience and they have their camera phones out and they're taking pictures. But at the same time, the authors have their camera phones out and they're taking pictures of the audience and tweeting them during that opening session. We have a website that you can go to for more information. It's tweensread.com. And right now we have some general information up there about the date and the time, and then we have a page with all of the authors listed. We'll be updating that website as the date approaches. We're waiting to find out some specific funding information for some grants we've applied for. We're hoping, we don't know yet for sure, but we're hoping to be able to offer bus grants to schools and librarians who would like to bring a bus full of kids. We were able to offer that last year because of some grant funding that we had. We hope to know by August if we can do that. We generally give away lots of books during the day by the authors who are there speaking, so kids can get them signed. The venue, it's a school, it's a high school. So we usually bring in food trucks that are out available in the parking lot at lunchtime so people can go out and get food there. But we also have organizations from that high school that sell concessions like pizza and hot dogs and nachos and that kind of thing. So it's a fun day. It really is. Even though it's in a high school, it is a very, very much a festival-like atmosphere. And the kids get so excited to meet the authors. I have a colleague who brought her tween reader. She has a daughter who's a tween who is not a fan of reading. And Shannon brought her daughter last year, and her daughter got to ask some of the authors questions and meet them in the autographing line, and it changed that tween. She is now an avid reader. Shannon has to ask her to put her books away when it's time for dinner or when it's time to get ready for school. So it has such an impact on the kids who participate and get a chance to interact with the authors.
Well, and we know that from research already. Muffet Livaday in the 1980s did that research on what motivates a kid to want to read, and I think number 1 or number 2 was meeting the author. And that's so hard to do with budget cuts at schools. We don't have as many author visits as we used to.
Right.
So offering something like this where there are dozens, literally dozens of authors all within reach is wonderful, and kids get a chance to visit with them, get autographs. It's wonderful to see the excitement that it generates for the kids.
It is, and even though it's aimed at tweens, it always attracts many adult readers as well, whether they're teachers or librarians or parents. But all of the panel sessions are moderated by different people, including Teri, Karin this year. And the moderators are always instructed when it gets time for the Q&A portion of the panel to give the kids the opportunity to ask the questions first. And so the event really is all about the kids and the authors.
And they ask some incredible questions.
They
ask questions that I write down for later, because if I'm ever at a loss, I have a good question to ask kids.
You're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you just look for Tweens Read, that's our handle at each of those addresses. We are our social media coordinator is getting ready to tweet out and Facebook out some author responses to questions. She submitted questions to all of the authors who are coming, and the authors got to select which questions they answered. So starting about mid-August, maybe beginning of September, we'll be putting out some more posts each day so that kids and teachers and librarians can become more familiar with the authors before the event and kind of prepare themselves for what they want to ask the authors.
Great.
We thought we'd do a couple book talks for some of the authors that are coming. Of course, we can't do them all. We'd be here the rest of the day.
There are 31.
But Margaret mentioned a couple people that I absolutely adore. Adam Gidwitz, Trenton Lee Stewart, and I also want to say a word about Rene Saldana Jr. because it's important that we have that diversity in there as well. Adam Gidwitz's forthcoming book, which will be available at Tweens Read, is called The Inquisitor's Tale. And here's my elevator pitch. You know, you're always told you should have like a 30-second pitch for a book. because that's the most effective book talk. So Inquisitor's Tale, Canterbury Tales for tween readers. It's about 3 children who may be saints, we're not sure, or they may be sinners, and a very holy, H-O-L-Y, dog. And it's a tale told by innkeepers, by monks, by you name it. It's a multi-voiced narration, and it is incredible, funny, and it reminded me so much of Canterbury Tales. That's the geeky English teacher in me, I know, but it's going to be so accessible to kids. Trenton Lee Stewart wrote The Mysterious Benedict Society. That was the first book I read by him, and it's about gifted kids who may or may not be being used by the adults, who are kind of taking their intelligence and having them do some work that might not be exactly kosher, who knows. But it's nice to see gifted kids in books. We don't often see that. And then Rene Saldana Jr. is a Texas author. He teaches at Texas Tech in Lubbock. I've known Rene for years, and he has gone from writing mostly young adult now to his middle grade mystery that features a character called Mickey Rangel. And they are quick little mysteries. The front of the book is in English. You flip the book over, it's entirely in Spanish. And he calls Mickey Rangel his Brown Encyclopedia Brown. I love Rene Saldana, and you will too. Hi, Candy.
I wrote notes down because I ramble and I knew we didn't want to have it too long. But anyway, I'm going to talk about a little bit about The Secret Sea by Barry Lyga. I'm a huge Barry Lyga fan. I love the I Hunt Killers trilogy, which of course is YA. So this, I was excited about a tween book. It's a total perfect tween book. It's for the audience of tweens with tween characters that act like tweens. They're not acting too young, they're not acting too old, they're perfect. It takes place in an alternate Manhattan where technology is advanced and magic is also real. The main character, I'm so bad about main characters.
Just say
Zach,
the main character.
yes, Zach has been hearing voices for years, and he's called him Tommy. And he doesn't really know what's going on, but he finds out who Tommy is after some strange events sends him and his 2 other best friends, who are the main characters, into a parallel universe that is much like theirs, just without the technology and magic. It has really everything you want. There is science fiction, fantasy, some steampunk, physics, global disasters, rare diseases, friendship, equality issues. This book has it all.
I am sold.
Yeah, it's
Very like it.
And then I'm also going to talk about Full of Beans by Jenny Holm. It's a prequel to Turtle in Paradise. So if you haven't read Turtle in Paradise, you don't have to. You don't have to. We're meeting Beans, which is Turtle's cousin, before we meet him in Turtles in Paradise. So we get to see him up until that time. It's historical fiction set during the Great Depression in Key West, Florida. This is when Key West, Florida is about to go bankrupt. They are about to be closed down by the president. The president's going to shut down the island because they're not making it. Beans will do anything to make a dime. He and his younger brother Kermit and a dog that wanders up named Termite wander around the neighborhood collecting cans, delivering laundry, just shooting marbles, doing anything he can to make some money. But along the way, he loses a little bit of his values. He loses some scruples. And it's okay, because in the end, he finds the error of his ways. He's back to a good guy again. And, that's then where you meet him in Turtle in Paradise. Holm weaves some historical facts, of course, along with this story, and it is so interesting because you will learn things about Key West that you didn't know about the Great Depression. Like, it was set up as a tourist attraction in order to save it, and it is one of the New Deal's, what is it, WPA, the Works Project. The most successful and longest lasting one of those projects in existence because it's still going today. In the back of the book, there's some historical fact notes for you to then read after the story. Be prepared to talk to your kids about the Great Depression and the New Deal, just to add to their enjoyment of the story, maybe. But other than that, they'll love beans, and it's definitely a great tween historical fiction.
I think it'd be a great read on that too, because the chapters are very short.
Yeah.
It's an absorbing read. I read it just a few weeks ago, and I absolutely loved it, and I had no idea about the history behind the story. So I love when I read historical fiction and I learn something, then I tell my history buff husband, and he rolls his eyes at me and goes, well, yeah, I knew that. And it's like, every once in a while he doesn't, but he usually does. But it doesn't matter. It's learning history painlessly, which I
exactly
adore.
right. I'm going to try and pop the, I'm going to try, if I can, on our video, to pop the covers up on the screen over the video so you can see the covers. If not, I'll definitely put the links in the bottom of the description like always, so you can go to Goodreads and look at them there.
And we'll also put tweensread.com and a couple of other links down there for you as well. So stay tuned. Who knows what we're going to be talking about next? Actually, I hope that the next thing we talk about is another conference that Karin and I are involved in, and that's the North Texas Teen Book Festival.
Huge.
Because our associate, another of our colleagues in crime, Rose Brock, is one of the people who helps coordinate that. And it is a huge conference. And we want her to talk about that because we at Sam Houston in the Library Science Department have a role that we're playing in this conference now too.
We will also be doing second part of poetry.
We haven't
forgotten.
forgotten.
We'll do that once we probably get back together a little bit more on a regular basis in the office.
Or maybe next week when we're stuck in a hotel in a small town for a week.
There you go.
You never know. Anyhow, thank you for joining us again. Please share the video with others. Leave us comments. Let us know what else we can video and provide for you.
Oh, we also started a Facebook page.
Yes.
We're going to do, PPPD now has a Facebook page, so definitely the link will be in the description. Go and like it. Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks.